Imagine surviving 10 years of war, only to spend 10 more years just trying to get home. Now imagine the reason you can't get home isn't bad luck. It's personal. Somewhere out there, a god with one eye wants you dead. Not defeated, not punished, dead. And the worst part? You're the one who blinded him. This is the story of a man who outsmarted monsters, said no to a goddess, and still almost lost everything, because of one moment of pride he couldn't take back. Stick around. That one mistake is going to cost him everything he loves. Let's set the rules of this world quickly, so nothing surprises you later. The gods are real here. They walk among humans. They fall in love with them. They get bored and mess with their lives for fun. Zeus rules the sky. Poseidon rules the sea. And Poseidon holds grudges like nobody's business. Athena, goddess of wisdom, plays favorites. And her favorite is about to become our hero. His name is Odysseus, king of a small rocky island called Ithaca. Clever. Maybe too clever. The kind of man who talks his way out of anything, and sometimes talks his way into trouble instead. He just spent 10 years fighting in the Trojan War. The war is over. Troy has fallen. Odysseus should be sailing home to his wife Penelope and the son he barely knows, Telemachus. That's the setup. A tired soldier, a short trip home. Nothing should go wrong. Everything is about to go wrong. Here's where it starts. On the way home, Odysseus and his men land on an island and wander into a cave full of food and wine. Free meal, right? Wrong. The cave belongs to a Cyclops, Polyphemus, a giant with one eye and a taste for human flesh. He traps them inside with a boulder and starts eating Odysseus's men. 2 at Ahem for breakfast. Odysseus escapes with a clever trick, gets the giant drunk, blinds his one eye, and sneaks out tied under sheep. Brilliant plan. Should have stopped there. But as they sail away, Odysseus can't resist shouting his own name back at the giant. Bragging. Pure pride. Turns out, Polyphemus is Poseidon's son, and now the god of the sea knows exactly who to hunt. That single shout just turned a 10-day trip home into a 10-year nightmare. After the Cyclops, they reach Aeolus, keeper of the winds. He's kind. He gives Odysseus a gift, a bag holding every storm wind in the world, tied shut. Only the gentle west wind is left free, to blow them straight home. Ithaca is finally in sight. You can almost feel it. After everything, they're almost there. But Odysseus's men are exhausted, suspicious, and greedy. While he sleeps, they open the bag, thinking it's hidden gold. It's not gold. It's every storm in the world, released at once. The wind blast throws them backward, all the way back to where they started. So close to home. And one bad decision undoes it completely. Ever had one moment of curiosity ruin months of work? That's this. Times 1,000. Next stop, the island of Circe, a witch of terrifying power. She invites Odysseus's men in, feeds them a strange drink, and turns them into pigs, literally. Odysseus, warned just in time by the god Hermes, resists her magic and forces her to change his men back. Here's the twist, though. Instead of leaving immediately, Odysseus stays a year. Comfortable, warm, safe, while his wife waits alone. While his son grows up without him. Ask yourself, is Odysseus the hero here? Or is he just a man who got distracted? We're not here to give you the answer, just the question. Eventually, guilt, or duty, pulls him back on course. But Circe gives him one final task. Sail to the edge of the world and speak with the dead. There, in the underworld, Odysseus meets the ghost of a fallen comrade, his own mother, who died of heartbreak waiting for him, and a blind prophet who gives him a warning. You will make it home, but only if your men do not touch the cattle of the sun god. Simple rule. Should be easy to follow. You already know it won't be. Next comes one of the most brutal choices in the whole story. Odysseus must sail through a narrow strait. On one side, Scylla, a 6-headed monster who will eat 6 of his men guaranteed. On the other side, Charybdis, a whirlpool that will swallow the entire ship and kill everyone. There is no clean path, no trick, no clever escape this time. He picks the lesser evil. He sails close to Scylla. 6 men, 6 screams, 6 friends he watched die. On purpose, because the alternative was losing everyone. Imagine having to choose who dies to save the rest. That's leadership, and it costs him. Before that, they also pass the Sirens, creatures whose song is so beautiful it drives sailors mad, straight into the rocks. Odysseus, curious as always, wants to hear it anyway, so he has his men plug their ears with wax and tie him to the mast, begging to be released as the song plays. They don't let him go. His curiosity nearly kills him. His crew's obedience saves him. Remember that warning? Don't touch the sun god's cattle? Trapped on an island by storms, starving, Odysseus's men break the one rule they were given. They slaughter the sacred cattle and eat. The sun god Helios is furious. He threatens to stop shining on the world forever unless Zeus punishes them. Zeus agrees. The moment they set sail again, lightning splits the ship in half. Every single one of Odysseus's men dies. Only Odysseus survives, alone, floating on wreckage in the middle of the ocean. 10 years of war, years of monsters, witches, storms. And now, he's the only one left. He drifts for days and finally washes up on the island of the goddess Calypso. She falls for him. She offers him something almost no mortal is ever offered: immortality, eternal youth, a paradise island, forever. All he has to do is forget Ithaca, forget his wife, forget his son. Think about that offer for a second. No more pain, no more monsters, no more loss, just peace forever. He says no. 7 years he stays there, some say trapped, some say torn, but every single day he sits on the shore and stares at the water, aching for home. That's the real climax of this story. Not a monster, not a war. A choice. Immortality and comfort versus a mortal life with the people he loves. He chooses the harder path. He chooses home. The gods finally intervene. Even Zeus agrees it's time. Calypso, reluctantly, helps him build a raft and lets him go. Poseidon, still furious, wrecks the raft one last time in a storm, one final act of revenge before letting fate take its course. Odysseus barely survives, washing up battered on the shore of a foreign land, where a kind princess and her people finally help him sail home. After 20 years, 10 fighting a war, 10 fighting his way back, Ithaca is in sight again. But home isn't safe either. His palace is full of men trying to marry his wife and steal his kingdom, certain he's dead. The war outside is over. The war at home is just beginning. While all of this is happening, Odysseus's wife, Penelope, is dealing with her own war. Everyone believes Odysseus is dead. So over 100 men, called the suitors, have moved into her home. They're eating her food, drinking her wine, pressuring her to remarry, basically living like kings while waiting for her to give up. Penelope refuses. She stalls them with clever tricks of her own. She's just as sharp as her husband. And their son, Telemachus, who was just a baby when his father left, is now a young man trying to protect his mother and hold his home together, with almost no help. This is the quiet heartbreak of the story. It's not just about a man lost at sea. It's about a family slowly falling apart, waiting for someone who might never come back. After 20 years total, 10 at war, 10 trying to get home, Odysseus finally reaches Ithaca. But he doesn't walk in as a king. The goddess Athena disguises him as an old beggar. Why? Because his house is full of enemies now. 100 armed suitors who would kill him the second they knew who he really was. So Odysseus walks into his own home unrecognized. He watches these men disrespect his house, insult him without knowing who he is, and threaten everything he's spent 20 years fighting to get back to. And here's where the tension explodes. Penelope, still not remarrying, announces a challenge. Whoever can string her husband's old hunting bow, a bow so powerful no ordinary man can even bend it, and shoot an arrow through a row of 12 axe handles, can marry her. One by one the suitors try. One by one they fail. They can't even bend the bow. Then the old beggar asks for a turn. They laugh at him. He picks up the bow like it weighs nothing, strings it in one smooth motion, and in that exact second, everyone in the room realizes who he really is. What follows is the most intense scene in the entire poem. Odysseus, his son, and 2 loyal servants sealing every exit and taking on more than 100 armed men, alone, in his own home, to finally reclaim everything that was his. So here's the real question this story leaves you with. Not who Odysseus fought, but what he was willing to give up to get home, and what he refused to give up, no matter what it cost him. What would you have chosen? Paradise forever, or a hard road back to the people who actually love you? If this story hit you, drop your answer in the comments below. And if you want more myths brought back to life like this, subscribe, because the next legend is already waiting.